screw this up or we're not friends anymore. Are we rolling? Hey there, my friends. I'm here with one of my best friends, Daniel Eisenman. You might know him from the Raw Bras. You can also check out his new YouTube channel. Link is in the description below. And Daniel Eisenman, aka the Freedom Catalyst, it's inspired he and I to talk with you today about how you can find more personal freedom. My experience is personal freedom isn't one of those things where people say, I have too much of it. It's always a sense of not enough, how do I get more? So Daniel and I are going to discuss some keys and invite you to consider them. Daniel?
Well, the first thing that came up when you said that was, is there a shadow side to freedom? Because I almost heard you say there wasn't. Some things I have a hard time finding a shadow side to are freedom and gratitude and love and connection and awareness. Is there a shadow side to awareness?
What I love about what I'm hearing you say, my friend, is the shadow side of freedom. My experience is that's one of the prime reasons why a lot of us kind of put the proverbial handcuffs on and restrict our freedom, because we're not aware of what the shadow side is, so we're staying defended to it. So it's almost like if freedom's what we crave the most, what if it's what we fear the most too? That's what I'm hearing you say.
What I heard was that you said you were enlightened.
I am sitting with my legs crossed to make me look more proper. Well, I love that. Considering what's the shadow side of freedom, what I love most about that question is it's not an easy question to answer. I think the question's far more powerful than the answer.
Oh, yeah, sometimes questions are the answers, too.
I like that.
I guess I could see for myself the shadow side of freedom as being attached to freedom. Maybe I answered my own question.
I like that. Let me throw another key consideration on here about how we can all perhaps find more personal freedom. And I would dare say, create change in your life. Look at where the same thing has been happening over and over and over again. Maybe it's the same job, or maybe it's doing the same job the same way. All the patterns of life are set up, they're in motion, there's no real change in the ripples. So I would dare say we need to embrace change and maybe even actively seek change out if we want to smell more of the kind of the fresh air of freedom. Your thoughts on that, my friend?
That makes me think, or I make myself think about what you said, was that the moment that I think I'm free is probably the moment when I put myself in the jail.
Wow. I like that.
These are good questions.
Speaking of believing we're free while actually being in a jail, which don't believe everything you think is maybe one of the morals there.
I don't believe everything I think. That's why I get concerned when people believe what I think.
Do you believe that? You don't believe everything?
A part of me, yeah. A part of me.
Yeah.
Not everything. I do believe some things, I think.
And
sometimes I prove myself wrong.
I like that. So not being attached to freedom, what that brings up inside of me is kind of like the more I need freedom, the more I try and make it happen. Seemingly the less of it I have. So it's kind of like the Zen saying of non-attachment. I guess it's a philosophy, not a saying, but the more we invite freedom while being relatively unattached to it is maybe a consideration, kind of like checking our mindset, like how desperate for freedom am I? And perhaps that sort of neediness, desperation, I need my life to change, is the exact thing that prevents it from changing.
I can see that for sure. I can see that once we think we need something, we forget that we already have it.
I like that.
A wise man at dinner once, last night actually, said...
Did he have red hair?
He was sitting next to a guy that has red hair.
That's close enough to wise man, if you ask me.
He said something along the lines as, if you already have what you're looking for, you just have to wake up to it.
I like that. I think that's the whole philosophy of self-realization. Everything you desire, and we're talking about the desire of freedom today, everything you desire, you couldn't possibly desire it unless you already have it. But just not knowing, yeah, give it to me, brother.
I'm just,
Not knowing that you have it is what creates the desire for it. And I think usually when we feel that, like, I don't have the something, I don't have the freedom, so that's what creates the urge to find it. But of course, some of the first places we look for it is on the outside. And I'm all about moving your feet in life, external, like not warding that off, but also at the same time looking for what I seek inside of me. So looking for freedom on the outside, yes, probably do that, but also where is it in the inside? Where's my block to freedom on the inside? I love that note of what I'm calling self-realization, what you called you already have it.
Sometimes I get worried that does everyone understand what you or I just said?
I would dare say probably not.
And I feel good not being necessarily attached to that, but just watching part of myself be attached to it.
I like that. My friend, another insight, what we can look for or consider or do to bring more freedom into our lives.
Yeah, I've had a few that I feel like were, someone the other day I asked them a question and we went back and forth, that's something I do.
You're free to do that, by the way.
Thank you. I gave myself the freedom, but hearing you echo my own voice is even better.
I'm just pretending like I'm the one that grants Daniel his freedom.
And I'm pretending I'm the one that's letting him do that. How does it feel?
He's very controlling. Feels good, by the way, to answer your question.
So someone the other day was like, I'll just brainstorm on that. I was like, ooh, that might give you the wrong answer. Why don't you just wake up to what you already know? Don't think about it, just let it out. It's already given to you. So a few things that came to me that I didn't think about, I felt like they were given to me from a divine source, which I would call God, was that I am made of infinite parts. Let's just say, for the sake of the clarity of this example, 7 billion parts, considering that's how many people live in the world, approximately. And how I treat the JP, how I treat you, is how I treat the JP inside of me. How I treat Diana, the camerawoman, is how my wife, I own her, is how I treat the Diana inside me. And when I discovered that felt really liberating.
Yeah.
Because I felt like, first of all, I don't have to go all around the world looking for wisdom from everyone else because they are already a part of me.
Yeah.
That felt liberating. Does that answer one of your questions?
Yeah, I think so. What I heard Daniel say is, look at what you project onto other people, things, experiences around you. Like, look at what you project onto them. And to me, that's a powerful way of finding like our inner resources, in this case, our inner freedom that we don't know we have. So like, look at who's free in your life. So for example, if Daniel sees me as free, he looks at like the JP part of himself, which is what he projects onto me, and says, okay, let's get a little bit more in touch with my JP-ness. I had to put a long pause on that, if you catch my drift, to keep this PG. That wasn't planned.
Sometimes the best plans are unplanned.
Yeah. With that said, just another quick insight of consideration I'd like to throw on the table too is, on the path of freedom, whatever path we take to find our newfound freedom at the moment, my experience is there's a paradox. That path of freedom will eventually become the path of losing our freedom. Like the path we take to find ourselves will eventually become the path we take that makes us lose ourselves. So what gives me freedom in this moment is wonderful for this moment, but the A word, attachment, do I stay too attached? Do I find too much comfort, familiarity in it, and it just kind of becomes, a mundane part of my life that I don't let go of? So that to me is a great consideration. Like, we take a look at the beliefs we adopt as we grow and heal ourselves, and we love to stay attached to those beliefs because they work really well for us in the moment. I personally believe the lifeblood of humanity, the human spirit, the river of life that wants to flow through us, I think it's too darn dynamic to stay stagnant with one mode of freedom works for you forever. I personally think you, I, all of us are way too brilliant and voluminous to be that static. So letting our expression of freedom, finding expression of freedom evolve, I think is what all that might have meant, at least to a part of me.
If you pay attention to what he's saying, it's pretty powerful. That being said, I wanted to ask you a question. Have you ever felt attached to being detached?
Yeah.
How do you recommend someone dealing with that?
There's this guy on the internet, I forget his name, but he makes ultra spiritual videos.
Mm-hmm.
I would recommend watching some of those. I mean, they're great videos. The guy is handsome as living heck. But those videos, I think, are largely about being attached to our methods of detachment.
On that note, I could share one more epiphany that's along the same path that we're eloquently dancing upon.
Let's hear it.
Was that not only what I said earlier, I can see how I treat the JP inside me by how I treat you, but I can see how you treat the Diana inside you by how I watching you treat Diana in person, which I think is also an awesome insight for other people. Then you could aid some cool insight. But on that note, I had an epiphany that I was just last week or a couple weeks ago, I was temporarily losing parts of myself to people that I perceived as powerful. Because I thought they had something that I could really benefit from, and I traded a part of myself in that moment, which was a great lesson that I found a higher level of connection, which is instead of finding people that are powerful, to find the power in people. Mm-hmm. And I don't have to lose part of myself to find that. That it's already there in them too.
Yeah, kind of a short note of what that means to me is seeing other people as equals, like you're not more powerful than me, nor am I more powerful than you, but we both have this power called life living through us. I dare say that sense of equality really breeds this thing called freedom. I think we put handcuffs on ourselves and really dig ourselves into a hole when we see other people as more powerful than us. And I think we do the same thing when we believe we're more powerful than other people. So I like that message of look for the power in people.
So I would say
ourselves.
The key to your golden handcuffs are in your heart.
Ah, I like that. Well, my friend, thank you for the open heart surgery, and for all you. I'd love to sit here and talk with Daniel all day and share him with you guys. I've got a flight to catch. I'm here in California in Daniel's home on my way to...
That made you sound extra important.
I am.
It's important to be important, though.
It's important. It's important that you see me as important, and I hope everybody sees you seeing me as important, and they think we like to be 10-year-old boys playing. So as I'm on my way to Australia to lead a retreat, that's how important I am, powerful. We're going to be quick with this video. We're already a little bit long. I'm making it longer here.
I'm trying to loosen up a little bit. I was like, was that too stiff? But I was like, I don't have to be attached to being loose. I'll just get loose at the end when I want.
Absolutely. But check out Daniel Eisenman, Freedom Catalyst on YouTube. You'll see his link in the description below. He really is a best bud of mine. I find a lot of inspiration from him. And also, we'll have a video of he and I on his channel, so you can go check out your redheaded friend JP there too.
Good idea.
So thank you for being on, my friend.
Thank you for being on.
You're welcome. Talk to you guys soon.
Peace in.